A journey into the space between is a space that we come together and we're able to create. We're also able to thrive as a community and we're able to heal together. Um, One of the strong points of the space between is we have the possibility of about 8 to 12 relationships. And that strengthens us because when we're sitting in the midst of the calls and when we're sitting together in ceremony, like we'll be doing once a month in person, um, when we dialogue with each other back and forth, we have the opportunity to see someone else share their story. And when someone else shares their story, we get reminders of our own story. And there's a vast healing in that. I firmly believe that working in a group can be just as powerful as working one on one. It's just in your willingness on how you want to show up and how you're committed to showing up, how you're committed to being there and listening to the person as they're sharing, as they're talking, as they're with you. For me, my healing process has largely been spent in groups. I've had the privilege to do one-on-one coaching also. And with the one-on-one coaching, it's more focused, I've found. There's something really powerful about a group though. And it, where I'm focusing on like a one-on-one coaching session with someone, or when I'm being coached, um, I might be trying to create something, and so the volume of the time in that coaching session is spent on that creation of that, and me dropping misunderstandings around why I don't think I can create it in the first place. In the circle with a group of people, I find maybe what I'm going through is more universal than just like exclusively personal. That largely what I think about why I may not be able to do something is it's the same thing that someone else is thinking about too. And so when you observe someone else sharing, or when you're sharing, and when we're working with each other, it's observed in the group. And the group itself becomes stronger through that process. And I think that's why I believe in this so strongly, is because largely this is how I've healed my trauma. This is how I've come to be in the world, is through being with groups, sitting in circles, sitting in the ceremonial element. In the indigenous culture, relationships are built over a long period of time. They're not very quick. And that says something about the strength of relationships. It also says a lot about where relationships are at today, and the possibility that there is to improve in relationships today. Everything can be very quick. And there can seem like there's less possibilities to slow down, but that's not the case. There's just as many possibilities to slow down. and create relationships that are meaningful and lasting. That's what makes community community. It's the relationships. It's the ties that bind. Those ties are the strength of community. So that when pressures and forces come around us and start to swirl and veer us off our course from side to side and the boat starts to sway, we're strengthened by our core. We're strengthened by the group. We go out on our own and we do what we do in the world, and we create what we're creating in the world, and we are how we are in the world. And then we get to come back and we get to sit with a group of individuals that are out doing it also in the world, and that are checking in, are sharing from a place of openness, and putting themselves up as part of a process to create the life they want. And ultimately become what they're searching for. We are what we're searching for. I remember the first time I traveled to England for my men's immersion, and I wanted to go there and find out what people talk about in rooms with people that are successful. And it's interesting, even when I say that now, I'm talking about someone, me, that at the time didn't view themselves as successful. Like the room that I was traveling to in England contained that success. That wasn't the case. I travel there, I spend 4 days with these men, and I come home. And something had increased inside of me. I noticed that the silence inside of me had increased. I was just quieter. And I woke up to something on that trip. And what I awoke to was that silence, or that essence and that being, isn't anywhere that I had to go. It was already in me. And that's been the great healing in my life. That's truly been it. As simple as that might seem, that's the core of my healing. When things come up from my childhood, when I have a memory, or when I have a flash of something that creates a hardship in my day, I'm able to overcome it because I'm able to go to that space, the space between, where that silence exists. And I'm able to get grounded because of who I am and who I'm being. And that's really why I wanted, to take the gong baths that I'm doing, that I would basically do just sort of sporadically. I would post gong baths. They would just come up, from time to time. And I would see the same people come over and over again. And I always thought about how I would be able to serve the people that come to my gong baths more powerfully. What could I do that would strengthen those individuals? And that was always, that process was also an external thought process for me. Because at the heart of that was, how do I strengthen myself? How do I reach into who Sundance is and make a deeper commitment to who I am and who I'm being? And slowly over time, the structure of wanting to create this group has taken form. But it's sat in lieu for a couple of years. And now it's starting to take form, and I can feel it in my body. And this is part of me going to any lengths for healing. This is part of me going to any lengths to want to create a group where people can come and thrive. I think through the immersion process, I've just become a believer in what working with groups does. And I want to make that more available, more consistently, from a place of a deep commitment. And that's why I'm doing this. I want to create a place that I go to for people to come to. I think the relationships that are created through this type of work span the course of a lifetime. I know I haven't forgotten any of those people who I've come in contact with and sat in these circles with for stretches of time. But yeah, I think I'm going to cut it off there. But I wanted to come on and just share about this and share about the space between that starts on April 6th, because I really believe in it. And I really believe the people that are going to show up. I have people enrolling, and it's going to be a strong group. It's going to be a strong group because the people are going to make it strong. They're going to make it strong because of their commitment to be there and be part of the process. We are the work. That's what we are. And each one of us is a chapter, and each one of us is a page in that book. And each one of our stories and each one of our lives is just as important. And I want to magnify that, as someone that creates and as someone that's a coach. I just love seeing that in people. And I love being able to believe in people that show up, because again, like when I started doing this, like I never even could have imagined my life taking the shape that it has today. All I wanted to do was stay clean. That's how it started. I wanted better for myself. I went to my boss and said, I can't stop doing drugs. And now I'm doing this. And as the old saying goes, I've seen a lot of people say it, as if I can do it, you can do it. And I truly believe that for you. And I believe in your sheer awesomeness. And I don't want to make you better than you already are, because you're awesome. I just want to help shine more light on it and support you in your journey. So it's been good to chat. Bye.